We are now joined live via Zoom by Tom Gross, a British political commentator and international affairs expert. Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
So the UK, we've seen so many protests and violence around the world, anti-Semitic demonstrations, but the UK has really seen some of the most alarming numbers and convergence of people, vocal, crowded protests, leaving a lot of Jews in the UK really being scared to walk outside to wear a Star of David. So what led the Prime Minister to now up the ante in this renewed definition?
Well, it's not just Jews. I think the kind of protests we've seen since October 7th in the streets of the United Kingdom, they've shut down all kinds of cultural events, art galleries, train stations, road blockages. They've made central London come to a standstill. And I think there's a feeling that although some of the protesters genuinely care about the Palestinians, various extremist Muslim groups have hijacked the so-called Gaza question, the Gaza issue, in order to push their own domestic agenda for ultimately Sharia law in the UK. Now, if you look at Britain, I really think that, relatively speaking, it's not a racist country. We have a Prime Minister, Sunak, of Indian origin. His likely successor of head of the Conservative Party, the most favoured politician among Conservative members, Kemi Badenoch, is Nigerian. If she doesn't become the next leader, it will be Suella Braverman, who's also of Indian origin. But one group within the UK is not playing along with integration and social harmony, and these are the Islamists. Of course, not all Muslims, but quite a large number, especially from the Pakistani and Bangladeshi community, are using the Palestinian issue to push an agenda. And it's been really quite a long time coming, in that the British Conservative government wants to move a little bit in the direction of Germany and France, who already have much tighter laws to ban extremist, Islamist and far-right protests.
So with this definition, I mean, what kind of recourse is there for people that would fall or do things that fall under that definition? Like, what is, what's the end result if somebody does something like that?
Well, first of all, Michael Gove, the government minister who has introduced this legislation, made clear in an interview today that if you chant from the river to the sea, a slogan which many feel is calling for the eradication of Israel, that will not be included in the new definition of extremism. Michael Gove said that a single chant or statement is not what they're trying to outlaw or make difficult. They're looking for a pattern of behavior, not just on Gaza, a big pattern of behavior to really push Sharia law and undermine liberal values and British democracy. And he named three particular extreme Islamist groups, one of which will be relevant to Middle Eastern viewers, which is the Muslim Association of Britain, because that is associated with the Muslim Brotherhood. Of course, Hamas is the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. In a way, the Muslim Association of Britain is the British branch of that Middle Eastern Islamist organization. And they're not going to ban them, but they're going to make sure they don't have access to public government funds. They're going to make sure that government ministers don't invite them to official meetings and so on. And they're going to try and, not make them prominent in public life.
So what kind of, with are there still as many gatherings in anti-Israel rhetoric within the streets of the major cities in the UK right now?
Absolutely. There are another huge rallies planned, I think, for the Saturday after this one in central London. But, I should explain to viewers that even though there's a lot of opposition to Israel and people chanting for Gaza and Palestine, a great number, I think a silent majority, is quietly probably supportive of Israel because they don't like, what is a foreign, faraway issue that doesn't directly affect the UK, closing down streets. And these are very, very rowdy protests. They're not done in the tradition of British, quiet marches that, as you said, they make it very uncomfortable for a Jewish person to even go into central London for fear of, attack and so on. There's been a huge increase in anti-Semitism. anti-Semitism, a lot of discomfort. It's come not just from Muslims, also from the hard left, and also from sections of...
Right. Thank you very much, Tom Gross and Dr. Fadi Ismail. I'm Emily Francis. Thank you for watching I24, and we'll be back with more continuing coverage. Take care.